Oh, that's right.
Are we live? We're live,
We
huh?
are.
Oh,
We're
jeez,
live.
man.
We
Yeah.
did it.
TGP.
TGP.
Let's talk about what this episode actually is.
Sure.
Yeah, we haven't really told too much people about that.
Yeah, we're gonna start with
I've
it?
talked to some of our. I think we started with it. Yeah.
Okay.
I talked to some of our closer friends of the podcast just to give them a heads up.
Mm-hmm.
But this will probably be the final.
What were their thoughts? They're like, this is a horrible idea.
Alex was a little heartbroken and like, dang it, man, what the heck? You're like one of my only anime podcasts.
Dang.
And I guess from that, you can kind of understand that TGP is going to be closing its doors until further notice, because Joel and I are going to transition to just talking about games more. I think we're going to try a different thing for a bit, this season. And we'll see how it goes. But we will be launching as Controller Kids, which is our new podcast. And we'll have details online more about how that's going to be listened to, whether it's going to be in the same feed or not. But we'll have stuff online about that. And if you guys want to keep listening to us, obviously, we appreciate the support. We have a pretty dedicated fan base that's been really kind to us and nice and given us way too much of their time for nothing of value or nothing. I mean, we have done as much as we can to give as much as we can. And you guys have been gracious enough to accept that and listen to it and give us your time. And we've never been more grateful.
Yeah.
But Joel and I want to try something new. We've been doing TGP for 3 years now.
Yeah.
Over 150 episodes. I think almost 200 episodes. I think probably 200 episodes.
I think it is probably 200 plus episodes if we counted some of the ones that we got rid of in the past.
And we put out a crap ton of content. And so it's not like we're doing this because we're not confident. It's we've tried this, we've loved it, and we might, who knows, we come back one day. But
it's never. To me, I feel like this transition is kind of. It's been coming. I think Luke and I have. We started this podcast initially with no real direction whatsoever,
in the middle of
and
COVID
it was
too.
In the middle of COVID, just as a way to hang out, right?
Yeah.
As a way to get closer. And I think what we realized is. There was two facets of our early relationship, and that have stayed strong, obviously, with us. But just which was anime and video games, right? Kind of like I feel like I really wasn't a gamer. Sure, I played tons of video games.
It's fun because Joel was always more anime, and I was always more games. And now that we've done this, I think we've just kind of lined up a little bit.
Yeah.
If I'm a little more game still, but.
Yeah, you probably are. But you definitely are more of a game purist, I'd say, and you have a lot more. You keep up. I think this switch will make me keep up more. But yeah, I think too, we are so thankful for the support, and it doesn't mean, this is pretty much just Thunder Goose shifting. But we didn't really. The main reason we didn't want to necessarily keep the name and all that kind of stuff is because it's just a totally different transition. It's not just me and Luke hanging out doing whatever we want. It's still
we're
that.
Changing up structure,
but it's
content.
Structure, content, everything's going to be changed. So we were like, well, we might as well just kind of start fresh, so that way it's not convoluted, or people who listen to one, or listen to a 200 plus episodes of anime, and then all of a sudden it switches. They're like, what?
Yeah.
So yeah, we love you guys. I think for me, the fact that we started off as just maybe 10 of our friends listening, and probably just listening half-heartedly to over 100 people enjoying the content and
with zero
more.
advert too. We didn't pay for that. You guys naturally found us.
Yeah, you guys just found us.
Decided to be these guys
and decided to stay, right?
Somehow these guys are interesting enough to have me listen to them, which is humbling for us, obviously.
Totally.
But
and we
also,
won't stop talking about anime. We're definitely going to talk about anime. It's just not going to be structured in the same way.
Well,
realistically, we're going to just be bringing up different things that we're playing or watching and stuff like that. And so there will be definitely a time to discuss those kind of things. It just won't be as hardcore.
And there will
focus
be
on that.
A stronger focus on the gaming. Honestly.
Definitely stronger focus on the gaming. Yeah. And honestly, that is what we've personally been wanting to do, but then I think too, the numbers kind of align with that as well.
Yeah, I think
there's everyone. A lot of the new people came because they found the video game stuff, and I think that a lot of people came for the video game stuff, and they were like, oh, it's anime, but I like these people, so I'll stay. And they talk about video games in the beginning or after. And so, yeah, I mean, like, you know, it's something that we really wanted to do and something that seems like you guys really wanted as well. And so that's kind of where we're at with that.
That being said, Controller Kids will probably be redoing some of their top 10 rankings of old because we've changed.
Yeah, we've
changed. This is a new podcast, and we have new opinions. So there might be some like re-lists like coming out at some point, and that might include Dark Souls 3 and Sekiro, which everyone seems to love. So
that's true.
We'll see how that plays out, but we're yeah. So thank you for the ride, guys. Thank you for sticking around.
And what we will do, because me and Luke talked about this, I don't think we've talked about an exact time. So maybe we'll let you guys know, but we will be posting every Controller Kids episode will kind of be being posted on this channel for probably, at least I think 3 months, just to kind of give people, hey, if they like what it is, and it's like move on over, and if you don't like it, then that's okay, and we'll see you when we come back with an anime series that we just can't not want to see, then we can jump back into Thunder Goose and do that. But yeah, we love you guys and we appreciate you, and we hope that you enjoy the change. I know it's bittersweet for us. I think we really debated doing this over, even like the name change. I think
2 months.
I think the name change is harder for me than it is necessarily for Luke, just because
you were TGP. You were.
Yeah. So I think that part is it's a little bit hard. But at the same time, I do genuinely believe that this route is going to be, especially when Luke is having a baby soon. And so I think the structure that we're going to have is going to be changing drastically, I think, anyway. And so I think this is a perfect time to kind of go into a new, we're going to have a little bit more of a schedule. We're going to have a little bit more routine. So that way it's a lot easier for Luke and I to be able to maintain this podcast together in a new season as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's that.
This might be cut out into its own snippet for you to just listen to, and it'll probably be in the beginning of this episode, obviously.
Yeah.
But just so you guys, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. We love you guys, and hope we see you on Controller Kids or whatever we're gonna do.
Controller Kids. All right. So what I want to talk about now is
CK podcast.
What?
I'm just kidding.
What'd you say?
It doesn't have the same ring. I said TGP, and then I said TGP podcast. Because I always make the joke of TGP and then podcast at the end, but I can't do that with this one.
CKP, Controller Kids. No, we don't need a podcast in there. Controller Kids is good enough as it is.
Controller Kids is fine.
And it's actually, it's a name I've been holding on to for a long time, but I think it's really good personally. So we'll see.
This is Luke's baby.
I will be honest, it's definitely a console style of name, not a PC friendly name.
Yeah, that's okay.
But anyways, okay. So I have been loosely getting obsessed with Godzilla.
Yeah.
Which is where I'm at right now in life.
Which is where I'm at right now.
On my breaks at work, I've been just looking up like lists of like the best Godzilla movies.
How many Godzilla movies are there? Like 38. You can't be doing this. So that's not, that's like 38.
38's a lot.
Okay, that's not a lot.
38's a lot.
It's not.
38's a lot of movies in one series.
I feel like you could watch that
There's more than
in a month.
You definitely could do that in a month, but that's more than James Bond.
Okay.
That's more movies than Pokemon.
Okay.
That's more movies than...
Longer franchise also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
38's a lot of movies, Joel.
Dude, it's been since like the 1940s. 55, okay.
Yeah. Which is 70 years.
That's a long time.
Every 2 years.
That honestly is surprising that that's not... also, are we talking like... You're saying 38 actual movies? Or are you talking about like
38
TV
movies
shows?
where Godzilla is the main character.
Okay.
Or the main monster. I should say that. Godzilla 1, Godzilla 2, and then like the third movie is Godzilla vs. King Kong in 1964.
Yeah, and I've seen that one.
That one's great, apparently.
It's very look, I'll be real with you.
Movies,
I'll be real with you and other people. Unless you enjoy like film and old film, you're not gonna like those movies.
I watch. I think
they are good, but you have to like it. If you're just like wanting to see, I don't know, Godzilla -1, and then you're like, wow, this is so cool, I want to watch this. Well, not the same.
Actually, apparently, Godzilla 1 does have a lot of the same tone as Godzilla -1.
Absolutely, tone. But I'm just saying.
But in terms of special effects,
our just generation, especially the one a little bit below than us, is absolutely spoiled with like the kind of stuff, and they see like I'm just saying this from the experience of working with people who are 10 years younger than me. It's been like the first time in a while, and people are like, "Oh, like I've never heard of ABC movie," or like, "I don't like that. That sounds too old." And I'm like,
"You know me though. I'm not."
I think you would like it. I think you'd like it.
I love special effects.
It's old school puppets, dude.
Yeah, dude. It's old school dudes and puppets,
sick, dude.
Or dudes in like human bodysuits, right? Like that's awesome,
dude. We should.
But that first Godzilla is all about a critique on like nuclear power.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
It's a horror
like
movie,
in Pearl
basically.
Harbor and not Pearl Harbor necessarily, but the bombs.
horrors of war.
Yeah. The
But,
bombs.
But
Me and my
well, yeah, I mean
history
that was 10
No,
years.
but yeah,
after,
yeah.
9 years after the bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki.
Thank you. That's what I was I can't remember the names of that. Yeah.
So it's like apparently a lot of that is supposed to be a critique on nuclear power.
Definitely.
Which is like a way more serious thing than Godzilla vs Kong.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And this is not me trying to be like the Western movies are bad, but clearly the Western Godzillas have taken a more Hollywood action star approach.
It's kind of like big dinosaur, destroy city, and lots of guns.
The Western one, yeah, I mean 2014 was like that, but then it just turned into like in the newest one, Godzilla's like Earth's protector, and King Kong is Hollow Earth's protector, right? Like they're protectors. And
okay, so the new one is bullshit.
Well, I mean that's what they've been working towards the past since 2014.
That's fair.
One.
Yeah, they have their little like thing that's going on in the West that they're making,
or whatever year it was when the one with Bryan Cranston.
Yeah.
The one that the two I'm looking at are Shin Godzilla and Godzilla -1.
Yeah,
the ones that kind of harken back to, and this I can't even say this with like personal experience, but they apparently harken back more to the original tone of the first one.
You and I should do, because I would love to do this with it. We should watch the first one, and then we should watch -1, and
well,
maybe,
Shin then
or Shin.
-1.
You want to do like that?
I think Shin is supposed to be kind of a retelling of the first movie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and they even so much uses like the sound effects from the first movie.
Oh, hell yeah,
dude!
Like,
from what I understand, that's what it seems like people were writing on.
I love honestly the old school Godzilla scream. You can't beat it.
Shin Godzilla has, and I've unfortunately saw it on a tweet, TikTok, not Twitter. But there's a scene that's like, clearly this is not a CG movie. Like Shin Godzilla is not CG. I believe it's actually puppetry. Puppetry, but a person in a suit.
I've never seen that one.
Yeah, so. And so like some parts of it look like, that looks a little hokey, but like in like a really cool way, you know?
Sure.
I don't want to say that. Like,
I mean, there's some level
they commit to a style, and I'm really into that.
Exactly. Like there's a style that's committed to it, and you love it or you don't.
Yeah, but Shin Godzilla is seen pretty positively, I think, in the community. Not as positively as -1. -1 seen
-1 exploded. I think that really brought Godzilla back to the scene. I don't think anyone was really honestly like. I'll say this: the one of the dopest trailers ever. I feel like for like one of for a movie that you know what it is. I think movie trailers are perfect when they don't explain anything about the movie. So that's not this. But when when it was like paratroopers or whatever falling from the sky with like the red smoke, and they're like going down, they're like
That's -1, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, what?
That's -1, right?
No.
That's Shin?
No. Well, maybe is that Shin?
That's a newer one because
it is newer. Oh, maybe I have seen it then.
I don't know. It's the cinematography.
Wait, but I'm sorry. It's an American one though. Is Shin American?
Oh no, you're talking about the 2014 with Bryan Cranston.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. Never mind.
Yeah. So when they're falling from the sky and they have like the red like smoke to show where they're at, you know, the smoke grenades or whatever, and then like just Godzilla kind of just like turns, and I'm just like, and then it just like cuts to like it's coming. I'm like, oh, that's sick. The movie was like there was some really cool parts, but the movie was
Well, there's a lot of human in the movies recently.
Way too much.
And that's kind of what
Way
I've been
too much
hearing.
Humans not being terrified of Godzilla.
Yeah.
It's more like, he's my friend.
Because
like,
-1's supposed to be like really allegorical with like grief and like trauma.
Yeah. Oh, dude, it's a monster.
Well, and like for a long time, Godzilla wasn't villainous in a lot of ways. Like it was destructive, right?
But he's not like intentionally like.
The goal was always to destroy the other monster a lot of times. And -1 and Shin Godzilla only have Godzilla. There's no other monster to duel.
Yeah.
It's literally humanity versus Godzilla.
Was that what the first one was like too? The very first one? Okay.
Yeah.
So the very I
can't remember the first monster introduced. I think it
has
was
to be that butterfly guy, right?
Mothra?
Yeah, wasn't it Mothra?
Mothra wasn't. No, I mean Mothra has a standalone movie actually before Godzilla.
Well, that's why I kind of thought Mothra was the guy.
Yeah. King Kong, I think, was the first introduction.
Oh, King Kong. That makes sense. Sorry, we talked about. You just said that.
King Kong's older.
Contra. Yeah. Right? King Kong is very old too.
But I think.
Was that a Western thing, or was that a combined thing? Because was King Kong Western?
King Kong was Western.
And then Godzilla was obviously Eastern. So
Japanese,
then like I'm curious if like two forces were like, hey guys, you want to like put these things together,
dude,
or if they just like took it, or if we were just like, I'm taking that.
One of the articles I was reading was like talking about the weird convoluted nature of the MonsterVerse and how it just kind of picks what it wants and puts it in there without much explanation.
That's fine. They're monsters.
Yeah, right.
Whatever.
But I found 5 Godzilla movies I want to watch.
Okay, what are they?
Godzilla original, 1954. Godzilla vs. Biolante, which is like the biggest monster he ever fights.
Hell yeah.
Biolante, I can't remember what's. It's a giant
Is
monster.
It the one with
tendrils.
like the multiple heads?
That's Gamora.
Oh,
or that's
Gamora.
Good. That's something else. Yeah. I got the name wrong probably because I'm not very well versed yet. Shin -1.
Yeah.
And the last one is the Godzilla. Gamora. I can't remember the name. Godzilla something in Mothra. All Out Monster Attack, which is like a lot of people's favorite one. And then so I think 4 of those are Japanese.
Yeah.
Or all 5 of them actually are.
You didn't even say Shin Godzilla.
I did. Shin and minus. That was 3 and 4.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So there's 5 I want to go through.
Let's do it, dude.
Yeah, and they're all higher rated ones. I don't really want to go through the.
You don't want to watch all 38?
So I do actually, but not the because there's a lot of bad ones in there. There's a lot of schlock.
Of course
in there. There's like an animated one of like a trilogy that Japan did in 2017, 2018,
yeah.
and apparently they're just rough. They're just
2000 what to what?
2017 and 2018. There were 3 Godzilla movies that were animated.
I remember there's actually, unless it was just like a TV show, was there a Godzilla TV show when we were kids as cartoons?
I don't remember.
Because I know that there's a Godzilla, and I can't remember if it's a cartoon or if it's an anime. Mainly as in if it's from the West or from the East. But I feel like I remember one, and it would actually be kind of cool.
To watch a TV show.
That would be kind of cool to rewatch that because I feel like I remember watching that as a kid.
I'd be so in.
Oops.
What is there anything you wanted to?
Is there anything I'm watching or
anything you want to bring
I'm
up
obsessing over?
Yeah.
I'm really I mean I'm not gonna get political with this, but I am so excited to watch Civil War. I haven't been terrified of a movie trailer
What is this?
Have you seen the A24 Civil War thing?
No.
Oh, dude. I mean, again,
I'm hit or miss with A24.
Politics aside, because I have no idea. It'll probably go one way or the other, but it's pretty much just like, what if Civil War in America happened right now? It's like on the forefront of a lot of our minds. There's a lot of tension in America, right?
Sure.
But they're like, here's a movie about it. And I will say this. I watched the first trailer when it first came out, like maybe 10 to 20 times, and would get just goosebumps because I was like, this is so eerie to like
it's just Republican versus Democrat.
Well, it's different than that. Like Texas and California are one government, and then a few other states are one government, and then everyone else is kind of like, I'm not a part of this, and they're just fighting in America. But you got to think, like the first Civil War was that too.
I'm sure
it was a few states versus another few states, and then people kind of got caught in the crossfire, or they'd help other states or whatever. So you got to think like that's kind of just like
I'm sure the trailer's like actually giving you goosebumps. I'm sure it's that premise sounds so dumb to me off the top of my head, but like
why it sounds. I mean, it could happen. So
do you
it
think
doesn't.
Texas and California would
no,
unite?
not that. Everyone's kind of like, what?
What?
Yeah. Again, and maybe they'll give us reasons. Maybe they won't. I don't know.
Those are the 2 states that would fight each other.
I feel like those were the 2 states that would fight each other.
Florida would fight California.
Again, Republican states versus Democrat states or whatever, right? But to me, I'm excited for that movie.
Yeah.
That's the first movie I think in a while.
Really?
That I'm kind of excited to see.
I think more so, I'm just cautious with A24 films nowadays.
That's fair.
Because
I still see him.
Ever since Green Knight, and like hearing your opinion of that and being like, okay, I'll watch that. And then kind of feeling very similar to you about that. I'm like, this is not.
They put out some of the best movies I've seen. They put out some of the.
Well, then I watched Uncut Gems. And I was like, this is also not.
No, well, those are 2 movies that I wasn't a huge fan of. I loved the acting.
But then they got Hereditary, which is like probably the best A24 movie. But then there's like stuff like.
Midsummer's really good.
Midsummer's I would put in the middle.
Witch is pretty good.
Witch has got a terrible ending.
I mean, it does.
It does, but it's a really good start.
Honestly, I will say this. Once, Satan became a pirate, that lost me.
Oh, no. I really think the Witch loses the thread. It does.
If
it was just Black Phillip the whole time,
yeah,
I'd
dude.
be really happy.
That's all you had to do.
But it really loses the thread.
Yeah.
And
it made it way less
all the
scary.
A24 spoilers. But yeah, I don't know. I just feel like I have to wait for reviews for A24 movies. I'm sure.
I do too.
Yeah.
I'd say there's a handful of movies that I go into because this to me doesn't really look. I can't even. I think the director did like AAA movies too, and A24. I think he just has a crazy idea. Like this to me, this is a weird time to put out this movie, and so I think people are just like, let's go for it. Like A24 has kind of the balls to be like, well, let's just like make something that's maybe a little bit more controversial or uncomfortable. They're totally okay with uncomfortability, right?
Sure.
I feel like. Well, I mean, have you seen Beau is Afraid?
Yeah, I did see that actually. I didn't like it that much.
It didn't.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing I'm saying.
It doesn't really push you to be. It pushes
Yeah.
you to be uncomfortable. But some people love that movie. I don't know why, but some people do. I mean, and I love Joaquin Phoenix. So
I like Joaquin Phoenix. It doesn't mean I like.
Doesn't mean I like everything he does.
Yeah. I mean, I don't like. What's that scrawny weird kid that plays Dune 2? What's his name?
Oh, Chalamet?
Arrakis the Prince. Like, I don't like him at all, but he did a great job playing the Prince.
Yeah,
right?
I feel like he's a great actor, but honestly, you know what? I bet it's like not even his fault.
I didn't believe he was a good actor until that movie, though.
Really? But what else have you seen him in, though?
Nothing, because he's terrible.
Okay, so that's what I'm talking about.
Wonka,
But I saw him in Bones and All, or whatever it's called.
Willy Wonka's the only other thing I saw him.
Well, that movie's gonna be dog shit.
You can watch it if you want.
I will not.
Yeah. But to watch that and then to see Dune and be like,
okay, that makes sense.
You can do things.
He's done some cool indie shit that's really good. But yeah, I'm with you. I think he's just everywhere.
But he also doesn't.
Really
he's
annoying.
also not that great in Dune Part 1, though.
Yeah, no, he's not.
He's like really good in Dune Part 2, but
Dune 2 was great.
Yeah,
I feel like Dune 2 was good. That's
Dune 2 was
how I felt about Star Wars too. This is gonna be super controversial.
I fairly ever got emotionally invested in Dune 2. And I'm not spoiling anything. I just feel like the scale is too big for me to care a lot about a lot of those characters.
Oh.
Like what's actually going on. I just stopped caring about a lot of this stuff. And also that movie moves fast enough where I feel like not enough time is taken on some of those moments.
Do you think that it's... Because that's something I was really curious about. Is this feels like a...
Trying not to spoil it because it's in
Star Wars, right? Like this... Dune is not Star Wars. Everyone put your pitchforks down. But I'm saying this... retelling of it is taking, to me, a very similar avenue of the 3 movies. Star Wars has the 3 movies. It does feel like they're throwing a lot into this. They give you 3 to 5 characters that they're like, love these guys, and then we're going to give you other characters we kind of care about who die, or they're just there, whatever. We move past it. And then like things are, because like every Star Wars movie I think has like, doesn't it each one have 3 battles at the end of each freaking movie?
3 battles?
Like three battles going on at the same time, or is that just the last one?
That might have been. You mean talking about
for Star Wars?
Which movie exactly?
So let's do original 3.
Original 3. So original 1 ends with.
Right, they're on the Death Star. They're on
Hoth isn't in the
not Hoth, the other planet with the Ewoks.
Yeah, and Endor.
Is they're fighting anywhere else? No,
I don't think so. I think it's just Endor in the planet. It's the Rebel Alliance fighting up in the sky, but there are multiple battles every time. Luke's in a X-wing fighter.
No, because Luke is fighting Darth Vader, so that's what it is. So it's cutting between 3 fights. Luke isn't. No, you're right. No, that's Luke's the third one.
Yeah, he fights Vader in the second and third, but
you're right,
he loses his hand in the second one, right?
That's right.
So
that's right.
But that's the only battle going on at the end of the second one.
You're right. Okay, so maybe it's more of a third.
The escape, I guess. But that's all from the cloud. It doesn't matter. I understand what you're saying. What you're saying. I let me just counter with saying I think Denis Villeneuve is a cut above any director that's ever done anything with Star Wars. I don't think anyone in Star Wars has ever directed anything nearly as good as what Dune 2 is.
I mean, I feel like that's crazy because the first Star Wars movie was
great movie.
Well, I think if we were alive, in that time period, that would have like blown our minds.
Sure.
Right?
Great movie. But if I'm to look at that movie written wise, directed wise, cinematography, it does not compare to today's standards. No. And it's not a hit against it. It's still an amazing movie.
Different. Yeah.
But it's amazing a lot of the time because of the pop culture around it. And everyone got like really invested and loved it. It was like an awesome like return to Western movies in one sense, right? And like a big break into the mainstream sci-fi audience in some ways.
That's true. Yeah, probably brought a lot of people who weren't into like nerdy quote unquote sci-fi stuff.
And Dune is a more hard sci-fi.
Oh hell,
it's a lot more.
It's also way cooler. I love how.
Well, I won't say that. I love
the close combat thing. I love how they do that. They're like everyone shoots lasers, and so everyone came up with technology to block those lasers.
Yeah.
Like when they were talking about it in the second movie, it's like. That's fucking
Star Wars.
genius.
Star Wars as a sci-fi movie is not the best representation of sci-fi, right? Like, there's no reason for clone
when
troopers.
They dropped bombs. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, there's no reason. I mean, if we're talking about episode 8,
no,
episode 8's a travesty.
We're not doing that.
But and I'm gonna try and excuse I'm gonna try and leave those new 3 out of this equation.
Yeah, no, you leave them out, dude. They're garbage.
Those are the same quality as like third-rate softcore porn. I don't think there's much good to it, to be honest.
That is a crazy statement.
I don't have a high view of anyone that did those movies,
so
but Dune's world set, its rule set is a little more complex and traditional sci-fi compared to Star Wars, and does a good job of showcasing it.
Yeah. I love the second movie.
The only arguments against what I said, I think, is the first 2 or 3 Star Wars movies. Not even the second one. It's the first or the third one. Second one's good. But the second one rides on that first in that third one.
I will say this.
Yeah.
The second one is, I think, my favorite.
It's good. I'm not saying it's bad.
Because of Hoth. The battle on Hoth
is
to me one of the. It's kind of like the Lord of the Rings. The Helm's Deep battle.
Oh yeah.
Is probably the coolest battle in all 3 movies.
That's debatable.
To me,
Minas Tirith is way cooler.
It's so cool. Look, there's some.
Minas Tirith has.
I really want to
everything.
rewatch the Lord of the Rings movies
every day.
It's been so long. I haven't watched the movies for years.
Oh.
So I would love to rewatch. I think Stephanie
I watch
would
them every 2 or 3 months. I'm not joking,
dude. I want. Let's do it. Maybe that's what. Well, that's a long ass.
I mean, it's fine. We can watch the one at a time, 3 hours. But yeah,
yeah,
it's fine.
Figure it out.
I think the first Star Wars and the third Star Wars, I think, are the pinnacle of Star Wars quality. So. You know, you can put Rogue One up there. It's a good movie, great movie.
One's great.
But I wouldn't put it on the same tier as those original 3.
No, I think it's the best story.
It is. You're 100% right. It's the best told story
for Star Wars.
It's also a story we all technically know how it ends.
Yeah,
and that's kind of a bummer.
Well, I didn't know every single person died, but it makes sense. Oh, also spoilers. I guess it's old.
It's fine. It's 2014, I think, or 2016. I'm not.
But also, who cares? Because that's literally canon and how it was supposed to happen anyway. Like they did say that. They said everyone's dead.
Yeah. So there's that, But then you have terrible stuff like Solo and episodes 7, 8, 9. And
so mad at that movie.
You have the.
How do you mess that up?
How would you even put the Obi-Wan show in that list of like, how did you guys mess up the Obi-Wan show?
Yeah.
Like, why is Leia the way she is in that show?
Dude, honestly, I don't know how they. And then we can move on to like anime or other things after this. But I truly do not know how they flubbed Solo, because I was like, all you had to do is make. I mean, yeah. No. Solo.
Solo's pretty bad.
Well, because I'm thinking like a Solo movie is make it about heists, multiple heists, all the crazy people this dude meets, because in the movies it's like he knows everyone for sure knows who he is, and so it's like, give me that movie. Instead I got like, I'm going to help this one person I don't even really know that well, and it's like I think they do kind of like a train heist or something.
The worst part about Solo is that the Solo in the guy Han Solo in Solo is a more progressed and like further along character development wise than the 74 Star Wars movie or the original Star Wars movie. Like there's more depth to that character.
Yeah.
Like he's already progressed through things further than the one we have originally.
Yeah.
And that's where I think the biggest problem is. It doesn't work there at all.
Like that.
The story also barely stands on its own.
It's not good.
It doesn't have any stakes as much as it wants to try.
Nope.
I don't know. That's crap. But anyways, we don't have to. I'm sure that could be an opinionated butthole here.
That is what you will get when you hang out with us.
Controller kids. And my opinion's gonna be wrong totally. Everyone can hate me for those.
But that's our opinions.
That's my opinion. So, but anime, you're right. We are here for anime. That's the more important thing. We want to talk about what makes TGP before we kill TGP.
Before we shoot it dead.
So we have 4 animes on the list this week. And we're going to be a little more nebulous with this one because 3 of them wrapped up.
Yeah.
And I think it might make more sense to summarize and talk about them as a whole this week with the episode in detail.
I think so, because I mean we're going to be like really
because we had a week off.
Because we're going to probably talk about them from the beginning.
We had a week off. We've got a couple ended. One's still going on for some dumb reason. But we're going to start there. So
yeah, we can start there.
We'll do The Witch and the Beast more traditionally, I guess, because. No, let's just talk about it as a whole. You're right.
Yeah.
So The Witch and the Beast. All right. I think we both said it before we did this podcast. It's fine. It's fine.
Well, we didn't know what it was going to be until.
No.
Oh, you mean before we did this
podcast
episode?
Right here. Yeah, this episode.
No. It's fine.
It had a lot of promise. It felt really cool. And I'll be honest, the one place where The Witch and the Beast really excels, the friggin' lore.
The lore is so cool.
It's so well put together.
Yeah.
And like to have this slow revealing of like, no. What you think is power is nothing.
Yeah.
What your power is going to get one shot by my power, which is like such a cool revelation to see Giddo come out and just, sucker punch.
Yeah, that was pretty tight.
But that was a disappointment to us in some ways because the animation was dog crap. What we did get this next episode, though, was like an origin story.
Yeah, kind of like how they met each other.
Ashraf and Giddo, right? Mm-hmm. Which I am a little more excited about.
I'm for sure gonna watch the last episode to see how it ends.
I was immediately annoyed with the supporting cast. They weren't nearly as fun.
No,
they're just whiny kids in some ways. But then again, is Is that witch making bad tea, right?
That's what I'm thinking.
You think it's bad tea? I want her to be a good guy, but
I think that she's the main witch.
You think that's Angelica?
I think so, because she can kind of switch bodies and stuff. And so there's a piece of me, though, that, I mean, I know that she was like, oh, well, no, I don't smell her on you or whatever. So maybe that's not the case. But it feels like a setup for that.
I think it's the guy that moved in there 6 months. The kid. I think it's the kid.
Oh.
Yeah. Is that just to be subversive, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that kid is actually Angelica, and that's Giddo just getting close, right? But then Ashraf, unfortunately. Also, what was that monster that flung Giddo across the lake in that awful animation?
Yeah, I have no idea.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool, but the animation was not.
No, it was like, oh, Giddo's flying like 10 miles an hour. Oh, God, that knocked her out, apparently?
She's, I also thought it was pretty interesting that she's the one carrying around the coffin.
Yeah.
In the beginning.
Yeah,
I was like,
huh. And then Ash.
I was like, why is shit? I love how he's like, I guess I'll hold on to this for you.
Yeah, I guess also what, and we'll come back to this, and probably not off air, but once we finish this series, like, I just want to know what Giddo is.
Mm-hmm. Well, honestly, I mean, this is a little pluggy ploo for our new podcast. No, but we'll talk about it on the first episode of that. You will get it. It will just be told in a much different capacity.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about our thoughts on that.
How did you feel? What's up? Oh, sorry. How did you feel about? It's okay. Did you get a little deja vu with this at all? With like.
Did I get a little?
People hating witches and like did it feel a little repeat, copy and paste in some ways?
Yeah, I kind of did.
Okay.
I kind of was just like, well, I mean, we're in a new city. We're meeting new people. It is older times. We don't really know how long ago. Did he say how long ago it was? Or did he say, it takes me back to the time we first met?
Yeah.
And then we don't know, and then they don't put up, this is the date. I guess they never gave us one anyway, so like, what good would that do?
Did you see how? Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I mean, it felt like some of those plot points were like, oh, this isn't surprise.
Yeah.
What I did want to say, Ashraf is like kind of brutal, forcing her to drink the tea. Like, wasn't that a bit crazy? How he just shoves it like right into her. That's out of context, terrible sentence, but
clip it. Everyone, clip it. No,
he controls the tea right into her.
Yeah, he honestly. I thought it was cool.
It was super cool. Because he was really aggressive with it. And I was like, that's not the badass.
It was pretty weird. It was I don't know. I've always enjoyed him as a character.
He's the best character in the show.
He's just so mysterious. And especially now that he hasn't. I will say this. Little bit disappointed that he wasn't the one carrying the coffin from the beginning. Because I was like, that's such a cool.
I mean, it makes sense in some ways,
but it does because it's not really his ability, right?
It's not his body in there. It's her. It's Giddo's body in there, and Giddo's.
But why does he have it? Is it like some type of level of control that he has it, or is it protection where it's like she was extremely vulnerable?
I think it's as simple as he said that if you go with me, I'll carry it for you.
That's probably.
I think it's that simple.
You're probably right. You're probably right.
I think it's like, hey, if I carry it for you and I help you on your quest, will you join me or the order or whatever it is? I think it's probably what's going to come down to, but.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think I will, if I can find an easy way to read this that it's not me just going through the I don't know, through crazy websites to find this, I'd read it.
Yeah.
Because I do think as a story and the lore, it's awesome.
Yeah,
I'm very intrigued by the story. I'm very intrigued by the setting and the lore. It's so cool. Like, I want more animes done, or even stories like in this kind of world setting, because it feels like they're doing fantasy right.
They're giving a level of depth that a lot of shows don't give.
Right. Yeah.
Like there's a level of depth to these systems that, like, just the necromancy depth alone was like, what the frick, man?
And I think I kind of dig Seinen. I want a few. Is that what it's
called?
Seinen?
Yeah.
Because I will say this. I actually kind of like that. The character's not like, oh, well, you beat me, I'm gonna beat you, and there's like. Yeah. It's not as formulaic. I'm sure if I watched a ton of Seinens, then they would become more formulaic.
Seinen. The word Seinen.
Seinen. Thank you. I don't know. I think that would be I'd be a good
Seinens
read.
Are king always. They deal with more complex issues. They're usually more
Shonens are really fun though.
Nuanced plots with a little more weight behind them. I love my shonens, dude. I will always love my shonens.
Yeah.
Like My Hero Academia, Chef's kiss a lot of the time. Bleach, chef's kiss, right? Demon Slayer, chef's kiss. But Berserk, even Death Parade in some ways.
Yeah, Death Parade.
Yeah, Trigun.
Gosh,
like
Death Parade has a manga.
Yeah, Trigun, is a pretty awesome seinen.
You think they did more than just what we got?
I don't know. I think what part about Witch of the Beast that annoys me is that we spent 2 episodes on Fenora, and that's all we got.
Yeah,
Fenora
I
was
will
the,
say,
the witch that's got the undead order.
Yeah. Did they even address?
No,
she came back.
No, she's only been in those 2 episodes.
Right. No, I know, but she came. So, in the last 2 episodes is what you're saying. You're talking about the witch?
Fenora is the witch who has the undead.
No. Oh, my bad. My bad. Yeah. I was thinking Fenora was the new witch with the sword.
No, that's Helga.
Helga.
She wasn't in this episode, but she's in the current storyline.
She's still in the current storyline, yeah.
We're in a flashback. Yeah, I think I would give this episode 7.5. 7.5. I think it's good. It's better than the last one.
I think 7.5 is perfect because we do get a lot of history, which I love how, you kind of have them meeting in a weird place. Like he's going after a witch. She's going after a witch for her own accord. She's like some mysterious person. There's kids involved. I don't know, like you kind of have all the key elements of it being good, of like a good story, but we don't know yet. They could just drop the ball. So to me, like this is kind of just a 7.5 because animation's not really there.
Production as a whole is not
dragging.
There. It's not even just the animation; it's the music, it's the pacing, it's the sound effects. A lot of it's just not at the quality of probably what they even want to put out, and they might just be they might be subject to a bad budget and a crappy timeline to produce this. That could be this scenario here, and they're trying their best. Regardless, it is not the most attractive product.
Very true.
And a lot of the CG and still frame bull crap is very present here.
Yeah.
So as a whole, the series, I'll probably pop it around a 7 at the moment. That'll change next week, probably based on the finale. But I'd probably pop it around a 7. I wish it got like a little more production, dude. It just needed a little bit more.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah.
I think 100%. Yeah, maybe you always gotta let me say more. I'm just gonna always agree.
No, you're good. You're good. But it is the weak link this week, and
it is.
For it being that good, I'm happy.
Yeah.
Because there have been a lot of weak links we've had in seasons that have just.
Yeah, this show didn't make me not want to stop watching.
Like Lucifer and the Biscuit Hammer was rough.
Such Platinum a good anime. I feel like we had so much fun talking about it, though. But I feel like if I was just watching that by myself, it would suck.
Yeah, I mean, well, maybe. But Girlfriend is Stepdaughter or whatever, like that was rough. There were some rough ones.
I personally liked it, but I liked talking about it with you because it was so bizarre.
That sucked because the production value on that was
really good.
Was so
You think that's going to get you in the first, second season?
Yeah, I think. But when there's enough content, probably. I don't know if there's enough.
Want to go watch it?
No. It's not my cup of tea. That is the wrong kind of thing that I want to watch. All right, so let's move on to the next anime then.
All right.
Okay, so we're talking about. Not Solo Leveling. Wait, Sign of Affection, Solo Leveling. What am I missing?
I'm actually want to do a pause so I can reset that.
Yeah, Mashal, but. All right. Mash, Burn Dead, and his good friends.
And the 7 Doors.
It's the season finale of Mashal season 2. It's a cool down episode, right? Like this is the aftermath episode of what just happened. All I can say about this show is that it is one of the best comedy shonens, whatever you want to call it, out there, dude. This is such a fantastic episode of like it's like. And it's easy just to jump into like the most important part with the speech at the end with Lemon, right? And all them. And that's like the easy part. But this is like everything. Like even Order like saying like he's disappointed in Caldo because he like you're on Mash's side or whatever, which is again Order being Order, a fan of Order, and Mash.
I'm
non-magic.
Order.
It's not doesn't fit in the Order. So
yeah, I mean again in the foreshadowing of their like you might have to acknowledge his strength soon enough, and you're like okay
fine. I know that's
that's
the show.
I don't know. I'll be honest. This episode, which is to me.
Really?
But the main reason it was was because I love this show. It's a very goofy, fun, comedic show. And sometimes they do action like really well. But this episode felt like it just didn't have anything in it.
Oh, it's all cool down. Yeah.
Yeah, but again, which is totally fine. I felt like they should have had it be way funnier.
It wasn't. You're kind of right in that
because I felt
there
was
some good comedy with Dot and Lance and all that at the beach, right?
Yeah,
I love the beach stuff a lot. It's hilarious,
right? Yeah.
But it does, and like Wahlberg showing, and like Wahlberg being as jacked as he is, missing an arm. It's like, who is this yoked up old Dumbledore looking mother effer? What is going on? With one arm, right?
It's just Harry Potter, but everyone's muscular. It's like that one AI video that everyone sent around for a long time. Do you remember that?
Yeah, Harry Squatter.
Harry Squatter.
Yeah, Swimbledore or Dumbleswole or whatever it was.
So dumb.
Yeah, Robbie was Dobby, I think.
Robbie.
Because so awful. Hermione Granger.
Heck yeah, dude.
Yeah, I remember that a lot. That was one of
Pebble Pumps.
That's the best AI's ever been. It's only been downhill since then. No, it's not true. It's been kind of crazy since then.
What?
Yeah,
AI?
But you're right. This episode was.
Well,
we're not talking about AI. We're talking about anime.
I'm scared of it.
I'm not.
I'm excited and scared.
I'm excited, but yeah. Anyways, the comedy, you're right, was kind of somewhat lacking, and there really wasn't a lot of meat to this episode beyond the fact that they did foreshadow the 5 underlings of Innocent Zero.
Yeah.
Of like their strongest me. Right. You know, and then it's like, well, are they really?
Are they really?
One shot that one guy who you brought, and then you one shot your boss because of that. So
yeah, there's no way. I know they said it, but there's just no way.
But
even from what they've shown us, without even being a person who's read this, the magic that Innocent One has
0
or thank you, Innocent One.
Time and space, dog. Time and space now.
Innocent Zero. Like, yeah, he has time and space now. But even before, he had time, which beat space on at minimum 90%, if not even more, of the fights. Of like they're like one-offs. It's
hard for me to ever think time isn't the ultimate because time can unwind.
Exactly.
I don't.
You can rewind every single thing that happened.
And this show's not going to be. It's not going to be like detailed and concrete enough about the power system to really have it be like you know like.
But then you have the guy that did Thorns.
Right. But you know, like JJK is super like precise about its power system.
Yes,
you know?
I do know. I love and hate that.
Yeah, like this is not that. You know, this is so much loose and softer.
Yeah.
Like it's not a hard power system like that. So time should always win.
Yeah. I will say, it makes sense because they're like, "Hey guys, don't get bored when you don't fight me again." That's what they're saying right now. So like, "Hey guys, don't get bored until I show up back up whenever that happens."
Yeah. Now I did like that part on the beach. I thought the beach was mostly
beach was great. Beach was great.
The beach scene was like a great departure from the usual horny beach scene to like.
It can be funny.
The comedy beach scene, like it wasn't horny at all. Yeah. That being said, there's only one person to be horny for, and that's Lemon, and she's not really that kind of character.
No.
So it's
I will
nice
say that's something kind of nice about Mashal too. Is there is not
fan service ain't the thing here.
I'm trying to think if
there might be a character later on. I can't remember. But
I'm trying to remember too. Is there?
I think
there's one, huh? I think that I'm trying to remember, and I think there's one. Bad person who I don't even know if they're in the main thing, but they're just like.
No, you're thinking of Virus Bitch from Platinum End.
No, I know. I'm not thinking of her. Dude, you just gave me a flashback real quick. Everyone, I need you to know this too. I don't remember where I was. Okay, so I was at a place and someone told me, "Hey, I know that you like anime. Have you seen this anime called Platinum End? It's really good." And I had to do everything in my whole body to not just laugh in their face.
Well, okay. Did they say how far they were in it?
They said they watched all of it. They liked all of it. And I was like, oh, like, why is that your favorite anime? And it was, or not favorite. They just
Why'd you like it
liked
so much? Yeah, why'd you like it?
And they were like, oh yeah, well, it's because the guy who made Death Note did it, and I just thought the story was like provocative or what, or like like kind of thought provoking.
That would be that. Oh
and
my
I was just like, oh yeah, for sure, dude.
Yeah, for sure. A story about God killing himself in the end,
for sure,
and then totally doing nothing with the rest. That's
yeah. And like even just the animation, like again, if they would have been like, hey, have you read this?
The animation.
I would have given them way more credit.
Well, apparently reading it's a different experience,
but not
much better.
Horrible.
I don't have faith in that author, dude.
I genuinely feel like if someone was like, do you want to watch Platinum End or Lucifer and the Biscuits Hammer?
Oh,
easy. Lucifer and the. I'm trying to think. What is there something that you and I, from what we've watched, will we watch something that the ants one would be hard.
Terraformers.
Yeah,
that was decent, halfway decent. It wasn't terrible.
Yeah, it would be rough to rewatch it though, because we're talking about like if someone's like, you have to rewatch one of these shows. Oh, damn it, my bad, guys.
That's fine, you're good.
Yeah, that's rough.
I mean, I think
think of one?
I think
That's
Platinum
kind of a
End is
question.
by far the worst anime we did.
Platinum End, yeah, I think so too.
In terms of ones I flat out didn't enjoy, I would probably put right beneath it
Terraformers.
Girlfriend. My ex-girlfriend.
You liked Girlfriend too more? There's no way. I liked the Girlfriend one.
That's fine. I liked it almost about as much as I like Platinum End, if not.
But remember how
Platinum End a little more.
How you and I were talking about if this story.
And you remember what I gave it?
No.
Yeah, I gave it the lowest rating besides Platinum End out of any series.
Would you think you would have made that worse?
I said if you're into the trend, which is weird, you can give it an 8 or a 9. If you're
not that
it's
not
a
that
4.
trend. Not that trend. So remember when we were talking about how the story might not be just about them, like it
could be about their friends,
but it's more so about like the friend and his like relationship.
That's maybe, but the season we watched wasn't about that. The season we watched,
that's true. And the way that it ended, it wasn't like that either. No. Yeah, you're right. That show sucks.
I gave that the second lowest rating next to. I think I gave Platinum End a 0.5 point. I think I gave it a 0.5 point.
What'd you give?
I think I gave it a 3 or a 4.
Okay.
And I think Lucifer and the Biscuit Hammer might end up like a 2.5 or a 2. But I would swap those two. I like Lucifer and the Biscuit Hammer more than That's not true. With it. Lucifer and the Biscuit Hammer was real bad, dude.
It was rough.
Maybe that is the actual comparison. The thing is, I just know that studio.
It was a rough anime.
Do you remember the guy that just died out of nowhere, gave his life to the main character, and we were like, that was the best character, dude. Well, or no, the whole flashback about the old guy that just ended up dying in the end and giving everything to someone else.
Yeah.
That anime or that manga throws. I guess the manga actually might be good, but the anime throws so much out the window. Anyways, what were we talking about?
We were about to rate
We didn't actually rate Mashal, did we? So here's the deal, man. I loved this episode.
Oh, we rating? Wait. We didn't do this with the last one either, but so we need to do it with this one because it's not fully done. We need to rate this episode and then the season as a whole.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you're right. I gave it's this.
Well, because the other one's not done
I
yet.
rated both of them, but I said 7.5 for the episode and probably as a series as a whole too. Is what
okay. I didn't know that.
That's what I had said. But it's up to you if you want to do that.
I'll stick with that because I feel like that's pretty fair.
And it said that'll probably change based on how good or bad the next episode.
Yeah, the next episode.
Mashal, this episode I would give like a 9 out of 10, dude. I thought it was great.
Yeah,
I laughed a lot.
I'd give it like an 8.5 out of 10. It wasn't horrible. I just, again, it didn't feel super strong of an ending, but that's not really what this show is either. No, it doesn't need a strong ending necessarily. It's just like, let's keep it going.
It's also like not the first arc, not the last arc, like a mid arc conclusion.
Yeah, it's a mid arc.
I'm not.
Also, are we getting 24 of that?
No, nothing. It sucks. I thought Solo Leveling was 24, but I was wrong. And that's my fault, guys.
How could you do this?
I would give Mashal as a whole like a 9.5.
I for sure would give it a 9.
It is excellent. It's better than the first season. It is better than the first season.
For sure better than the first season.
First season was good.
I'm trying not to. I don't know. But like this is almost a 10 for me. I feel like.
I am honestly, dude. I am more positive on that moment with Rain Ames. When he brings the black spear or the black partisan down on Macaron, that's one of my favorite moments of anime this season.
Wow.
One of the best moments of anime this season. It's really good.
Well, I guess the season just started, but yeah.
Well, season ended right now. Like, this is it.
You're saying that was your favorite part of Mashal?
Of this season.
Got it.
Of this whole anime season, not even this anime, but like of
all. Okay. You're saying, yeah.
Of what we watched, that was one of my favorite moments.
Okay,
I watched that moment a lot. It was really good and well done. Musically, that was the kind of the thing for me. Like the way the music synced up with the actual actions on screen, just really cool. Big fan of it. I think my least favorite episode is probably the fight with the guy that has Dr. Bly or the doctor. I like the entrance from MASH shoving the guy's head into the wall.
Yeah.
But the tennis thing is fine.
I like that.
It's also kind of just like a comedy finish. It's not really, you know what I mean? It's more of like it's Finn's episode, and it's great until that ending fight, in my opinion.
No, see, I actually really like that. I think this episode was the least favorite. Yeah. I think everything else I honestly really liked. Yeah. I think this was the kind of one that was like it just didn't have a lot of meat in it. So I was like, eh.
It's that weird like we finished the arc a little early, I guess.
Yeah, that's kind of what it feels like a tiny bit.
It resolved a lot with the crowds, so and
I mean it did.
And MASH catching the rocks was pretty good.
Yeah, that's true.
Animated way too well for that scene. But yeah, I mean, I love this show, dude. That's where I get it. I don't know if it's the animated. It might be we'll see.
I'm gonna give it I'm gonna give it a 9.5.
9.5
as a whole season.
Yeah. It's better than the first season in my opinion.
I don't know, but I mean, I keep asking myself, why am I not giving it a full 10? I can't really come up with a reason.
Well, you just gave the last episode 8.5.
Yeah, I know, but that's the strongest. I guess that's fair.
If it didn't end the strongest for you, that could be a point against it, or a half point against it.
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, but it could also be overridden by the fact that it's just pure fun.
That's kind of what I'm thinking. I think I'm gonna give it 10. Yeah. I really think I am because the amount, the show, I feel like a show I have not. What the fuck am I trying to say? I have not found a show that has made me laugh and be super interested in fights since like One Punch Man.
Yeah.
And this is very much, I'd say this does it because this is its sole purpose, and One Punch Man turns into an actual show, and maybe it was always from the beginning.
No, now that Murata's really helping.
I will say that it's a goddamn, it's going, it's popping off right now, everybody.
I think the partnership of One and Murata, that's why I think One Punch Man is so good now.
It's so good.
Because Murata's art is just...
it's awesome. The story is great, too. I think the story's
good.
So
it's good. It's a really good story, and there's nothing against that. I just think that the art for One Punch Man is like almost next level in some ways.
Oh, dude, it's so crazy.
It is incredibly well done. And the choreography of One Punch Man, if you had just read the webtoon thing that One had done, yeah, you wouldn't think much of it. Even the first draft, right? No, so if you read this stuff, this redone stuff, it's so good.
It's insane.
Yeah. Every character feels so much more fleshed out too.
Oh yeah. Dude,
anyways, you would put that up.
I put that. Yeah. It's because I'm just saying for like humor and action. To me, there's not, and that's some of my favorite Western. Is like a good action comedy like Rush Hour 2. To me, one of the funniest, best movies ever because it's lots of good like choreography, action with hilarious to me humor.
Wipe yourself off. You did. My favorite quote from that movie ever.
Because
you get to say it back to the guy finally. Shoots in the
I just love like the first part where he says like you told he's like trying to talk like Japanese to them and then they like drive off. He's like, what? And he's like what I say? He's like you tell him you wanted to get naked. And he's like, okay. And he's like, and then sacrifice a small goat. And I always just remember.
You should watch that again, dude.
I just remember one of my friends peeing his pants actually when that happened. So maybe that's like was
Rush Hour 1 is too serious. Yeah. Rush Hour 3 is too funny. Like too much comedy.
It's just too goofy.
Like Rush Hour 2 is like the
perfect middle. It's one of my favorite.
It's such a good buddy cop comedy.
Yeah.
And Jackie Chan's just fantastic on screen.
Oh, he's phenomenal.
Let's talk about the next anime.
Let's do it.
A Sign of Affection.
Dude.
Yeah. So let's talk about this date. This date episode. Let's talk about this. Okay, so we get to go on our date.
You do on our date, man.
And she plans it.
Well, I thought it was really cute how she's talking to Ren of like, oh, I want to take him to here. You think he'll like this? You think he'll like this? And then she's like, well, why don't you just take him to do something that you'd want to do? Because I think that's kind of what he's trying to get right now. And her whole, like, her being a picture person was something that I was not expecting.
Taking a lot of photos.
And very cool because she's deaf, right? So when you're deaf, you do get your senses and all the other things do become better, right? And so I'm like curious if like she, not that it's like anyone who's deaf is going to be an amazing photographer, but I'm just really curious if like this is kind of a way that she sees things. And so I don't know. I mean, again, from his perspective, looking at her taking photos, it's like he gets to look at these things where it's like, this is her life. I don't know. I'm doing a horrible job of explaining.
No, you're. I understand it. It's
you go and I'll get in there.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna move to some side things before I get to the date.
What?
Because I want to talk about them quick. Because I don't know if it's a fault of the episode, but the episode does it quick too. Basically, every other side romance is really quick in this episode.
Oh, they kind of do them at the end, right?
They do them all at the end. Yeah. So you do see that, like, maybe Shin and Emma.
Well, Emma's going to give him a chance, is what it looked like to me.
Yeah.
As in, they weren't talking.
Yeah.
All of her friends said, "What are you doing?"
Yeah.
Like, go to this guy.
Yeah.
And then she does go to him, and they go walking around in there, and they're a little bit playful.
Yeah, but they're going
they're walking away.
And it seems like it's at least resolving in a direction that leads to romance.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Oishi is walking with the girl, but he's not paying attention to her, and he's just kind of reaffirming where he was before. It was a pretty...
Well, this is... So this is where I think... Because I think you know...
It was about what I expected.
He's obviously in this story not finished, right? With
100%
her.
not finished.
And the thing that's weird is I do think like he's walking with this girl who I think legit likes him, but then she's also being like, you should get that book that you keep always thinking that you're gonna get to keep up, to like keep going on your sign language. And I don't know. And then he just does it. And so I'm like, okay, so he's going, okay, I need to get into this trajectory, like towards her. So that's where he's going. Possibly his friend is maybe like just waiting, kind of like a, Shin thing. But I don't know. The Shin thing was kind of quick. I was a little sad about that. And then the ring.
Oishi was quick too, but it just kind of.
But I feel like his was quick because, like you said, I do think you're right. They rounded out his story.
I think the frustrating thing is they introduced that book and closed that book loop out in like 4 seconds.
Yeah, that's
true. It's almost like an artificial plot thing to like give him something in the end, more than like just let it go. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's kind of what it feels like to me in terms of what this whole Oishi moment was. It doesn't really matter that much in the grand scheme of things. It might lead into season 2. I don't know. But for me, the viewer who hasn't read ahead, it just felt like, oh, that's new. Oh, okay, it's done. Whatever it may be, Kyoya and Rin is cute.
Very cute.
Yeah, it's cute. He wants to get her jewelry. Or he gets her jewelry, sorry. Doesn't he give her a ring?
Yeah, no, it's a ring.
Yeah, he gives her a ring. Yeah, he gives her a ring. And she's really surprised by it. And it's like, this is real. All right.
But it's not like, it wasn't an engagement ring, right?
No.
It was like a ring on her, like.
Yeah. I don't know. I actually don't know if kneeling down is common in Japan like it is here. I don't know how that works out. Like traditionally,
well, there's no way they're getting married, right?
No. That's what I'm saying is I don't know if people propose the same way they do here as they do in Japan.
Oh yeah.
You know what I
don't
mean?
know either.
So I don't know if it's going to be like, hey, I got you this engagement ring, which is a very Western.
Right. That is very Western.
It's a very Western culture. Like wedding bands obviously are real, right?
Yeah, but I mean, is it like a promise thing? Because I feel like promise things aren't really big here. They used to be big when you were like a kid.
Promise rings are religious in affiliation.
Are they?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Promise rings are. I think we're like a 50s or 60s like
more like a religious
Christian Bible Belt thing. I gotta look into that before I feel like I'm talking on my ass too much. But I think I remember reading about that.
Okay, I mean that makes sense.
It makes sense because
you're promising to be with that one person forever. Yeah. Oh, is that what you mean? I always thought promise ring was like when you're giving a girl a ring that isn't like a wedding ring or an engagement ring, but it's like, hey, like this is kind of like a token that I want to be with you.
I thought a promise ring was a promise to celibacy until you marry someone.
That also, well, I think the Christians coined that, so which I'm with you. We
should do a whole episode on this, huh?
Honestly, I'd be super fascinated.
There would be something into it, yeah. I'm sure there'd be a lot of history there.
There probably is, dude. Yeah. That actually could be kind of fun if we found like random stuff.
The history of
just things, history of things.
So that's really cute. I think the cute. One part of this show as a whole, we don't get a lot of I don't think we get a lot of Kyoya really and like Rin, like talking about relationships. They get to see a lot of Itsumi and Yuki right the whole time.
Yeah,
and it's super cute.
Yeah,
and like that's the main characters obviously, right? But I feel like we get more Shin and Emma internal history monologue and to them two, then we get Kyoya and Rin, even though the very first romance shown in this show is Kyoya Rin. Like like she wants to date him. That's the first thing we're told
about.
It's
like
them,
the catalyst.
Yeah,
is that desire for a relationship.
I thought we'd have more detail with that one, and we might get that later on. I don't know.
To me, it almost does feel like a later on one, but then there's also a piece of me that I think they kind of got shafted this season, but it makes sense because they're not best friends with everyone else. So like, you know, the three of them were like, you know, Shin, Emma, and then
Killian and Rin are like outside of the equation.
So it's like so there's like, oh, like here's like backstory. So we learned so much about all three of them because they're all friends. Whereas the other two, they're kind of just cut for time, it feels like. Where in the manga, maybe legitimately they're talked about more, or at least hinted at more. I don't know. I am for sure, 1,000,000% gonna collect that entire manga.
Oh, it's gonna be easy because it's not that much of it.
Not that much.
There's only 8 or 9 right now.
Well, just right now, but So but it wouldn't be hard. I
don't know how much longer it's gonna go.
Well, I hope it wraps up. I like my love stories shorter.
No, real. I don't know how much is left of the manga.
The manga. That's what I'm saying. I want it to be shorter.
Yeah.
As you know, because
easy
I think
collect,
like
easy
9 Golden Time is 9 books.
Do you own them all?
No, I only own the 9th one.
Oh,
I found it at Book Off for like $3, and I was like, I am not gonna let that book go. So
I want to collect those.
I did get the Elden Ring second one. They're making more, so I just got it.
Is it good?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You know what's funny?
I thought the first one was fine.
The first one's it's because it's making fun of itself. It's like tongue in cheek. It feels like towards itself, and it's like players, and like, you know, I get it.
Yeah.
But I feel like the second one's kind of giving some lore.
Cool.
And I'm like, oh, this is kind of sick.
Oh.
I don't know how, but I guess it has to be kind of.
Yeah, I don't know. I want to read it too.
Yeah,
whenever you're done with it. Did you already read it all?
No,
okay,
but you could take
done
it
with
tonight if you want to read it.
I want to read that 9th volume for Golden Time though.
That's good.
I think the discussion of his ideal or his goal, that was last episode, I think, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Good goal.
Yeah.
Very simple. Not simple. So very
we should
very loosely defined, which is kind of nice.
I do want to talk about that because I don't want to talk about the whole episode.
Yeah.
So the 11th episode, not the finale, the one last week that we didn't talk about. My whole perspective changed about him.
Yeah. He was like a lot less of a player than
yeah. I also was talking to my wife. I'm like, do you think? I was like, not all of us, probably not even you guys, but like I was like, do you think me and her were more so just like, oh, maybe he's a bad guy because of like the red herring that like Stephanie saw like in the beginning, and I was just like, huh.
What was the red herring?
Of like, oh, like he's kind of like inner space all the time, and he's kind of like grabby and like hypothetically
like
manipulating, which and a playboy, which is very true. But it's also he was like pretty aggressive, like with her, and I mean again, quote unquote aggressive. You know, because it's from an outsider's perspective looking in. Every outsider person has different like things they've gone
through.
Good,
that would you don't gotta. You're good.
Yeah, thanks.
Don't trauma dump on us, dude. Seriously.
Yeah, straight. Fuck you guys and fuck your feelings. We're killing the podcast right now. You don't even get the end. No, I'm just kidding.
That's it. That's the last.
Can you imagine if
we
just
cut it off right there? And like, all right, Thunder Goose out.
Damn, that would suck. That would be horrible. And we would never do it to you. We love you.
They wouldn't even rate a sign of affection.
That would be crazy.
But I think anyway.
So I love him.
I don't. Now. I'm at the point now where I don't even think there's a main conflict between them two.
I would honestly don't want it. I don't want it
better
anymore.
and better is all I think. You know, that's all.
Yeah, that's the hard part is because now I'm not in the camp for the friend.
Yep.
Now I'm very curious. I would love him to win me over because that's kind of something in Golden Time that happened where I was like, this person's the main person.
Kaga
and then she comes I don't want to say names, but then she comes in and then you're like, oh, I kind of want her to be the person, but then you're like, I still want her to. I don't know.
You have Kaga and Linda.
Dude.
Linda.
Oh, dude, Linda.
Yeah. So
anyway.
Yes.
So yeah, I love their relationship. I really am. I'm all team. I'm team. Do they got a good?
Yeah, I give this episode honestly a 10.
10.
If I'm totally.
I was saying their relationship.
The relationship's a 10. Oh, sorry. Yes. I think I would be happy if it just got better and better and better.
Yeah. There's like a plane or a rocket going out right there. Probably plane. That's cool. Anyway, sorry.
I think the conflicts are around them more than anything. Not them too.
Yeah,
I would give this episode 10 out of 10. I thought it was an amazing season finale. I wanted a little more from the friends, but we didn't get more from them because we got more of Yuki.
I think we'll get a second season. That will be it. This will for sure. If they wrap this up soon, this will for sure just be 2 seasons.
You gotta let me know how far they're into the manga because I doubt it. If
I'm not gonna read it.
Oh, okay.
I'm not gonna read it until I'm gonna collect it.
Yeah,
but unless they say no. If this takes like years, like let's say like it takes years and years for this to come
bi-weekly, not even weekly.
No, I'm not saying the manga. I apologize. I mean anime. If you're thinking that
for them to catch up to it, I'm thinking.
Oh wow!
I don't know how far they are into that. We could be the manga could be finished, I guess. No, it's ongoing. It's said to be ongoing actually. So
I don't know.
I don't know when second season will come. I hope there's another one.
I don't want to read it. I'm loving the anime right now. Don't need to because if I finish it with the anime, which is exactly what I did with Fruits Basket, which was perfect because I didn't see the very first Fruits Basket, which everyone was like, wow, this totally ruined the manga. I watched the good one and then read the manga, and that to me made the manga so much better because I had even just in memory like musical kind of cues that could happen and different things that really still enriched like this story, and like I got way more information and more stuff, so it just like helped. But and that's kind of what I wanted to do with this. I want to watch it as an anime, and then if I want the extras, that's what I'm gonna do. And I just want to collect it because I love this story. I give this a 10 out of 10. I mean, this anime is. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, like
this anime is
you chose this one, right?
Right?
Or was it me?
No, I think I chose this one. We both looked at it though and we're into it. It wasn't
whoever's choice. If it was you, I just want to say thank you. I'll be honest. I think this thing has kind of changed. It is weird, but different aspects of my life. Like I have been looking into like doing like sign language interpreting and all that kind of stuff a little bit more now because this is like kind of brought stuff up from my past that I had dealt with, which maybe is why I was like that's kind of why I was a fan of Oishi or whatever because you know it's like I just had like a protectiveness for that community back in the day, and then like friends split ways and it's like you know it's not something you think about until this, which is my kind of brought it back to the forefront. So it's cool. So I mean I gave this I think this season is like easy 11 out of 10, 10 out of 10. For me, so like episode 10 out of 10, season.
Yeah, it's probably not going to be a surprise. For me, it's the anime of the season.
Yeah, easy. Mine too.
And it's hard to argue against it when the other two are shonens that are good.
I mean, Soul Leveling is very close.
Mashal and Soul Leveling, I think it's neck and neck there, but I don't think they have the. Really?
Dude, Soul Leveling is so much better than Mashal.
Really?
Are you kidding me?
Interesting. Okay, we'll talk about that, but.
Mashal is its own thing. It's the best of a thing. Yeah. It's never going to be bad. You're not going to get a horrible... Like, the worst Mashal episode that I've seen to date is still an 8.5. Like, that's great. Soul Leveling is fucking kick-ass, dude.
Oh, yeah. I think
Mashal's not usually like, oh, shit. Dude.
I think there's just a couple times in Soul Leveling where I wasn't as interested.
Sure.
And it's hard to really kind of pick that out, but we'll get to that anyways.
Yeah, we'll get to it.
For me, it was pretty easily a sign of affection.
Mm-hmm.
I would put Soul Leveling pretty high up there, but I think a sign of affection clears a lot of hoops or a lot of hurdles.
Sign of affection is like up here. I'd say
it's damn
Soul Leveling's like
it's
here.
damn near like artistic, if that makes sense. Like it feels like
dude, yes.
Like obviously this is art, right? But like it feels like this is something you would want to show to people. If like, hey, which romance anime should I watch to get into romance anime? Well, maybe not this one because it's the best one now. Well, I mean that's debatable for who you are, but
that's debatable.
I'd
say it's probably the best.
It's probably one of the best ones out there. Like as a whole, it is a stellar romance.
Yeah.
Fruits Basket's up there, obviously. Golden Time's up there, obviously. Those are my two that I champion at least.
Same. But I think it would be these three. This is like the trinity of
Clanad's up there, but certainly older. So
you said Tranclad?
Clanad. Yeah, but it's certainly older.
I mean, is that a romance?
Yeah, I would probably call it romance. Yeah.
Are you sure, dude?
I would call it romance.
It's not that horror one? Am I thinking of a different one?
Clanad's like no, you don't know what Clanad is, do you?
No, I guess not. I thought
I'll show you later. You're good.
Okay.
Clannad's
maybe I'm thinking of like Elfin Lied or whatever.
Elfin Lied is definitely not what I'm talking about. Elfin Lied is.
I'm definitely thinking of that.
Elfin Lied's about the psychic
right.
girl.
That's why when you were like, I was like, it's a romance. I was like, what are you talking about? I was like, I don't think it was a romance.
Elfin Lied and Clannad really aren't relatable at all. But Clannad has really striking art that you either love or hate. So.
Okay, that's cool.
Massive eyes. The
whole face is eyeballs.
Yeah. I love the show.
10 out of 10. The show is fantastic.
Let's talk about soul leveling then. This last episode, Arise, season finale.
Rise up.
So I had a few issues with me personally with the last 2 episodes. Whenever there is fast moving 3D backgrounds with 2D animation overlaid over it, I usually get a little motion sick, and it's kind of a turnoff for me. So that happened a couple times, or not a couple times. It happened once in the previous episode and once in this one. It happened a couple times total. But
wait. Keep going.
So, those are my caveats that I have to be upfront about. If I didn't feel that way, I'd be a lot happier. But unfortunately, my body reacted that way.
But unfortunately,
it's kind of one of the reasons why I was so turned off, though, for Ninja Kamui as well. Because Ninja Kamui was all that for way too long, and it was just rough.
I just dropped off that shit too.
Yeah. But either way,
whatever.
Soul Leveling's last episode, Arise. So this episode has a few things, but does start off with our boy basically losing, dude.
Yeah,
it's a tough fight. Like he's going as hard as he can.
He also didn't figure out that it was the mages until like later.
Yeah.
So I mean, he was finding infinite. Like
he was so overwhelmed though.
Yeah.
And he was also already fatigued from Indris, so it's like he didn't have much to even give. I don't know how you would expect him to like overcome that challenge. No. But I think also.
Well, he did lose a teleportation stone. That was his fault.
Yeah. Well, also, again, dude, bro, stop dropping teleportation stones. You know?
I will say this. I kind of knocked this episode. It got it back. It got it back with the way that it was. But that was almost a whole point.
Dude, that was a whole point.
Because I was like,
we didn't talk about
why is he doing that again?
It's such a convenient thing for the.
And it's like the second time you can't do the same trick.
Like
so whatever.
And it's like this protagonist has been so smart. Yeah. And then he keeps doing this stuff.
They made up for it.
Yeah, they made
with this episode, they made up for it. This episode
goes to the penalty zone. He does knock out the penalty zone critters easy, dude. It's nothing to him, and it's gorgeous.
You so fast. So he goes to the penalty zone, is what you're saying, because he didn't. The penalty zone saves his life,
which we did talk about.
So funny.
You remember what I said?
Yeah,
he's gonna have to go there.
Yeah,
and he does.
You were right.
And he has to go there. And he does win.
He just destroys all of them, and then he gets to chill.
He's so lucky that's like the quest fail. Like he fails his daily right then.
Dude,
it's so lucky.
So lucky.
Yeah.
Did he put anything into luck? Have they talked about that?
Luck's
not a skill, is it?
I don't
in
think
this?
So.
No, because sometimes it is, right?
It's a skill in Shangri-La Frontier.
Oh, that's right. That's what I was thinking. That's what he did. I need to do that. I need to keep going. I know
you're
saying it's really
good.
Everyone's saying
it had a high. It has some pretty intense. It has one of the best fights of the year already. The way that the
even animation style.
Animation's so clean, dude. They put so much money into that fight. It's stupid. It looks amazing.
I'll get
the actual Tomb Guard fight and the mechanics that they introduce as a fight.
Yeah.
Is so fascinating.
Cool.
And it's so cool.
I don't know why I stopped watching it. I
think honestly, it's because of the schedule of Thunder Goose.
Yeah, that's real.
We can only do so much.
We can only do so much. Yeah, and I got a kid, so it's kind of hard.
That's why it's kind of to start controller kids.
Yeah.
So, the penalty zone, we knock it out. He clears it easy. He's able to heal himself through leveling up. Mm-hmm. So he got to grind.
That is true.
And I think it was like 4 levels, dude. It was a few amount of levels.
He got like. I think that they were showing us like it was like beep 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 beep. I don't know, at least 4, at minimum 4. If not, they were implying that he had gone up even more than 4.
But the other thing that he also realized is that he could buy a weapon that was good against knights, which I was like, dang, dude, that's nice.
Smart.
So he has a new dagger.
But that's his thing.
Yeah.
Like, think about
he
that. Like,
adapt.
even that's his thing now, where it's like, oh, okay. Well, unless he's in a zone that you can't do that. But that's very specific. that would be from, again, this god or whatever is giving him these different tasks. And so that was meant for him, right?
Yeah.
So I think in the real world, he can adapt on the fly no matter what, always. Yeah. And so if he's finding someone where he's like, this isn't working, he can just boom. And so this show is cool. But this is, I think this is kind of like Blue Lock. And go with me on this journey. Soccer was kind of cool, was kind of fun. It was whatever.
Yeah.
Blue Lock comes out, and I'm like, dude, I want to like watch
soccer, the world's most popular sport.
That's fine. That's fine.
It's whatever.
I'm just not a sports guy. You know what I mean? Like,
you're not a sports guy, but I love the Eagles.
I mean, football's football, dude. It's America, baby.
Anyways,
honestly,
go on.
I don't even give a shit about them that much. Like, you know. Yeah. Anyway, but
there's not a lot besides Captain Tsubasa. That was the issue. But
yeah,
go on.
Yeah. Look, Blue Lock was just so like it got me in on every episode because I couldn't really tell what they were doing because it's a sports anime. You're like, okay, this was gonna happen, and then it kind of turned the sports genre on its head because you're like, this is a normal generic thing. We're gonna watch, our boy fail and rise, but the way that they tell the story is so intriguing, and the way that they do quote unquote combat, or like the goals, right? Like you get the adrenaline. What is it called? The dopamine hit that they technically kind of do. I feel it's like what they did, and this show feels like when he starts really becoming badass, right? That feeling, I feel like I get that feeling in my gut where I'm just like, oh, this is so fucking cool. Yeah. I just always think of that meme. This appeals to the boys' fantasy.
Yeah.
And this anime does.
The masculine urge
it's so
to grind.
Fucking cool. Dude, honestly, just being someone that you could always raise levels and like be the best or like, it's so cool.
This is why I play JRPG. This is what I do.
That's what we play video games for. This is it. And then they brought it to the real world.
Yeah.
Genius story idea. Again, has it been told before? Yeah. This is telling it in a very good way.
I don't really care if it's been told before.
Well,
even
this motherfucker says that, and then he goes, I want original.
No, I hardly ever say that. That's why, we love Demon Slayer, dude. That's not original, right?
That's so true.
That just has incredible character work, though. Anyways, we get through our penalty zone. We're back in the fight. He's kicking butt. He's destroying the mages.
Well, he realizes there's mages.
Yeah.
And also he's just slicing through these guys.
He crushes his challenge. But
he's not getting any experience.
And that's why he goes and kills the mages. But he kills them all really quickly, beautifully. So good. This is a gorgeous episode. Let me be clear.
Yeah, and like how he uses some of his powers too. And the music.
Yeah. Music was... I think I'm finally...
Because it's hype music, dude.
Well, I think I'm finally hearing the theme enough to feel like, okay, it's a good theme. And I was humming it at work today. I was like, whoa.
Ooh.
All right. Let's go.
All right.
And that's a good note. But I still feel like it feels a little generic in some ways with the instrumentation they used. But it's great. It's still good.
I hear you.
But he cuts through all of them, finishes up, and for all intents and purposes, he ends this job quest. Okay. He gets offered a job. And it's not something he can pick from. He can't just choose it's like from a list. He gets offered a job based on his performance.
Isn't that so funny?
Yeah, but it is so funny and so interesting, but because it classes him as a necromancer.
Yeah.
Which is such a
when that happened, what did you think immediately when it happened?
I thought that that was a spoiler I saw on TikTok for this. But shoot. That's what was right.
So you know where it's going even more than this?
No, I'm just saying it confirmed that he became a Shadow Monarch.
Oh, got it.
And I was like, oh, that's what Shadow Monarch is for.
Is Shadow Monarch like in regular video game terms? Is that a normal thing?
Necromancer is barely a normal thing.
Okay.
Necromancer's in Diablo.
Yeah.
And
also, Diablo 4 is on Xbox Game Pass. Should I play it if it's for free?
That game is not great.
It's not good?
Okay. I mean, if you like Diablo,
also,
it's
wait,
fine,
never mind. It's a Blizzard game. Hey, Blizzard, this is coming from Controller Kids. Fuck you. Fuck you. It's coming from Joel.
I don't think, first of all, Blizzard has no more merit as a company. I mean, that's just that. That culture there is just...
I mean, you heard what they said about, especially for you, for controlling digital media.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of anything Blizzard does, really.
Yeah. Did you hear what they just said?
No.
Oh, they released new guidelines that you have to sign that they literally spell out. They literally tell you don't own. If you spend $60 on a game, you don't own it. It's just you just it's a license.
Yeah. Which can be revoked at any time.
Done with you.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So we all
we'll talk about that later.
I hope you realize that's like true for a lot.
It's
of
a lot of these companies are coming out with it. Yeah.
This is like.
I mean, we're going there.
Yeah.
So,
well, no, I mean it's already there for a lot of people.
Yeah. Well,
like Sony.
Allegedly, pirating is probably going to start happening again.
Never stopped. and I think it's only getting stronger.
Yeah. I mean, if they do that kind of garbage.
Anyway, yeah.
Anyway,
sorry.
Back to
Blizzard's
solo leveling in the male fantasy.
Yeah, what are we talking about, dude?
No. But yeah, okay. He becomes a. We were talking about necromancers and how that's not like a normal class.
He gets 2 abilities: Shadow Storage and Shadow Summon, I think, or they are, or something like that. Or Shadow whatever. And so the first one lets him, Shadow Summon lets him raise undead enemies with their shadows.
Or dead enemies with their
shadow. Like, it's their shadows. They're not.
But it's pretty much their essence.
Yeah, and Shadow Storage lets him store them for whenever he wants to use them, which is broken as hell, by the way,
dude.
But you have to think
cool.
that's not the Necromancer rule set. That's the Shadow Monarch rule set. So he instantly went to an advanced hidden class.
Right.
So it's gonna be a broken class.
Yeah. Well, I'll be real. I didn't really fully know where this was going until he started walking that way, and then I was like, oh.
To Ingris? Yeah.
Where like he raises people. He's like, wow, this is so cool. And he's like, well, can I just do this to anybody? And then he just goes to Ingris the Knight.
Does it twice.
Fails and I do like that. Yeah. I like that they have that because it would be broken if just anyone. If you had infinite chances. So they're like, you get 3 chances and then it's no forever void.
Yeah.
I like that. So thank you.
And I like they gave it a pep talk to get him. It was awesome.
Yeah.
I wonder how long it sticks around.
That's what got it for me, dude.
Yeah,
that's bumped the episode up for me because of that pep talk. And I was like, and then the whole thing where he's like, it works that time, which you knew in your heart was going to. And then it's like, but then when the knight comes back and he kneels and the other knights are behind him, I was like, let's fucking go, dude. Let's kill everyone. Also, we didn't talk about the other guys on the helicopter at all.
Well, nothing happened. They're left.
Dead, dude.
They left.
They're dead, I think.
No, they
this is what I think is going to happen.
They talked on the helicopter for 3 seconds, and they're looking at the
said,
island.
oh, shit, what's that?
Yeah.
And then, they're not dead. That's not true. That's not dead. Oh, did you finish the end? Did you go to the end of the episode and watch it?
Was there a post-credit scene?
Yeah.
Shoot. No. What happened?
They're on that island, I think, or they're in the ocean because they crashed. I can't remember. But they say, hey, these monsters are evolving. How did that happen?
Yeah.
And then
that's right.
cuts.
Okay. No, I watched that.
Okay. So that's to imply that he's, again, I will say this.
The game's changing for him.
The game's changing for them.
But the game is also changing for
them.
Yeah.
But it's not going to, I don't think it's going to change. So he's going to be the hero because he's the only one who can keep up with these guys. Again, kind of cool. It's a generic thing that happens all the time, but it's kind of cool the way that you're setting it up to where it's like just one guy can do it.
Theory is he kills the other S rank, and that's how he gets roped into this. The S rank brother he killed.
Do you think he's going to kill him?
I think they're going to fight it out, and he's going to kill him to stop it because the system's going to make him. I think that's
oh no, you're right.
Which then I think leads to him being like, "Hey,
a murderer.
You need to." Well, what's hard to say because if he does kill him, which he.
But in real life, won't he go to jail?
No, because S ranks are above the law. They already said that.
So he kills an S rank, and then they're just like, "Oh yeah, you're S," and so we can't do anything about it.
Yeah, but then like you should go and save the island. That's how they're gonna get him probably somehow like that. Like after he kills the S rank.
Interesting.
I think that's what's gonna send him off to Jeju Island.
Okay, are you gonna read this? Because if you are, I'm going to.
Probably.
So you need to tell me. You need to confirm with me the date that you're gonna start.
Oh, I'll tell you.
Okay. Don't like read all of it and say, "Hey, I read it."
Yeah,
I don't want
that
all,
by the way.
Did you for real?
No, I didn't read it all. No.
You would be that guy.
No, I would not.
Do you do a Blue Lock? You beat me so far.
I told you though I started Blue Lock. I told you I started
it just took me a while.
It's
Did
great.
You also pick back up?
Yeah.
I need you.
We're in the middle of that match now.
Oh, okay. So then I got to. I'm pretty behind.
Yeah, dude.
I'm like where no, I can't. We can't.
Well, sorry, I should say we're in the middle of the next match already.
Got it.
So there was only like a 4 or 5 chapter interlude.
Okay.
Maybe 6 if I'm being honest. So like it was pretty. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So let's just rate soul leveling at this point. He gets Ingris. That's all that.
Yeah.
This episode's a 10. It's got a lot of quality put into it. It's kind of the bombastic finish I wanted from an anime this season. And Mashal didn't give it to me because it was a little different.
Yeah.
But Witch and the Beast probably isn't going to give it to me either. So.
Yeah, I will say this. This just made me go, "Yep, I want more." Like I was so sad because I thought there was more, and then when I text you and you're like, "Yeah, my bad, dog. It's only 12."
Yeah.
And I was like,
I crushed your soul, dude.
Shit.
I crushed your soul.
It's okay.
I have this at the same as a wait. What would you give the episode? 10?
10 for sure.
So the whole as a season for me, 9.5.
10 for me.
For you, okay. Yeah. So that really was close for you.
I will say, again, I will say like in 10s. I'd say A Sign of Affection is like it's like still a big gap in my head for like because like A Sign of Affection just has everything I want in it, perfect for me.
Yeah.
And hypothetically life changing. So, I think with Solo Leveling is I was pretty against in the beginning. I was like, is this gonna be that good? Blah 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 blah. But the more shit that kind of just happened to me, I love where the story's going. I love the idea of bringing this mechanic into the real world because, again, it's something that I think it kind of just brings me back to like Boyhood when you're like, to me, like a, a kid between the ages of like, I don't know, 8 and like 14, where you're like, I wish I was like in a video game world, or I wish this video game thing I had, or I had to, and again, you could be older and think that, my bad. I'm just saying, when I was like playing my PlayStation 1 or PlayStation 2 and I had those
between age 6 and 32.
Yeah, that's fair.
I wish I was in a video game.
I mean, I wish I was in a video game right now.
When I started playing Pokemon.
Hell yeah,
today. You know. Go on, sorry.
No, that's real. That's real. Like Pokemon's like a perfect example of like I wish I could catch real Pokemon in real life. Actually, but, you know. Yeah. And
that's when Blue came out. Was 96.
I think so.
97.
96 or 7.
I was 97 or 98 actually.
I was 6 or 7, whichever year it came out. It was 1996. I was 6.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Oh, so I understand that for sure, dude.
Mm-hmm. So I love it.
I think for
the last 3 episodes, I think for me, or 4, shot it much higher.
I think the soundtrack wasn't there like it was for Mashal.
I love the soundtrack.
But
I like the generics of it. So and you don't like that.
I just don't think it was recognizable until the very end of the
No, I don't think it's recognizable either. They kind of just have like those beat 'em up fights songs. Yeah. And I'm like, this goes, you know.
There's a really inspiring one that I like a lot too. But I like Mashal's a lot more because Mashal had really interesting music. Again, it's the one doing like hip hop in their songs, and it's so weird.
Good. It's so weird.
Or rap in their songs.
It's so weird.
Yeah, it's like I'm a big fan of it, and the animation was much more clutch this season. Obviously, both these shows had great animation.
Yeah.
But the clear, obvious winner of the anime of the season for us, and I guess or for me and for you and for us, is A Sign of Affection.
Sign of Affection, 100%.
Masterful in its execution.
Masterful, dude. Masterful.
And that's, I guess, where we get to close out TGP.
But if we do, and then it's over.
Peace. Don't do it that way. That's not how we say bye.
That'd be so crazy.
Once again, if you want to listen to if you somehow skipped the first segment and you want to get right to the anime, whatever you wanted to do, this is the last episode of TGP, and it's a little more somber actually at the end of the recording, or a little more grounding. What's the word I'm thinking?
Grounding.
Impactful. Emotional.
It's bittersweet. It's good. Yeah. It's good. Onto newer things, onto better things, as we always say.
Yeah.
And, I mean, literally, just come and hang out with us. You're not going to get anything different except for us not talking.
Yeah.
You're just getting more like video game talk. And again, you're probably just getting more of me and Luke talking.
I mean,
which is something that we wanted. We wanted more, I think, generic, like I don't know, like organic conversation and stuff like that. And I think we can do that pretty well with video games.
I think it's easier to have people guest too with us.
Oh, you want guests?
I want guests all the time.
Dude.
I want guests all the time with Controller Kids. But we'll see. It's fine.
Oh, shoot, dude.
We love you all. We're gonna miss you, kind of, because we hope you'll join along. And if you don't, that's the sad part.
Yeah, we'll miss you.
We'll miss you.
We love you. We appreciate you guys.
Yeah, we'll keep doing us.
And for sure, like legitimately, we will be keeping, the Instagram and all that kind of stuff like that. I will tell you this: we're not going to be super active probably on either one of those things. I'm probably even going to be taking time off from social media and things like that. We'll figure out ways to like stay in contact, because that's ultimately we want, is like to have like a good relationship with you guys, for those of you who even stay or people go.
I think it probably ends up being a Discord, but
that would be perfect.
We'll
we can do that. We
can
make a Discord that has like maybe it'll be maybe our Controller Kids one, then it has like a section of Thunder Goose. All right, we love you. We love you, Thunder cunts.
And with that, this chapter closes, but a new one opens. Thunder Goose, a podcast that has charmed its listeners with passionate dives into the realms of anime, manga, and video games, bids farewell. Through insightful discussions, heartfelt reviews, and the shared joy of exploration within these beloved genres, the hosts have built a vibrant community of enthusiasts eager for their next adventure. Every Tuesday and Friday, audiences were treated to episodes that felt like conversations with close friends, discussing the latest in gaming, the intricacies of manga, and the ever-evolving landscape of anime. As Thunder Goose concludes its journey, it leaves behind a legacy of episodes that celebrate the depth, humor, and creativity of geek culture. While this may be the end of one tale, the stories and memories created together will continue to inspire. To the hardcore fans and passive listeners of Thunder Goose, thank you for a journey filled with laughter, learning, and the unbridled love for storytelling. Here's to the adventures that await in the next chapter.